everybody, and welcome to the number one best traders winter competition week one review. And this is sponsored by Cobra Trading and Dash Trader. So a big welcome to everybody for our week one review. My name is Michael DeJoy, and I'm joined by my co-host David Capablanca from the Friendly Bear, and we have some exciting news for you all. And as we go through the cop competitor, so David, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good, Mike. Good to see you again. I think we spoke a couple weeks ago. Yeah, doing
Yeah,
great. How are you?
yeah, and we got some cool things to discuss today because once again, I mean, this is sort of exciting because the first time, I convinced you to come in the into the competition, and you took me up on it, and you managed to get, I think it was second place. And now this is the week one of another competition which you helped me promote. And lo and behold, one of your Friendly Bear traders is there at the number four spot in the competition, which is cool because you're not in this competition, but your one of your traders is, and they managed to make it into the top 10, which is pretty awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like they're within striking reach of yeah, we still got some time to go for the
Not
competition. So,
not doing bad at all. I'm just going to run through the numbers. So we have Best 1086, who is a DOS person, that had an incredible day today, $15,974 for today's gains. I mean, this is pretty impressive results. $65,861 so far for the entire competition. I mean, that looks like they're averaging, at about that level of 15,000 to 20,000 a day, which is very impressive. And that's on a $50,000 account. What would be a $50,000 account, $200,000 buying power. We have Best 965 with $4,951 today, $34,164 overall competition gains. And then we have our number three spot with Best 1095, which didn't have a great day. $3,796 lost, 25,171 for total competition gains. And then we have your Friendly Bear trader referral, and thank you so much for sharing the information with your community, with $2,848, 21,883 for total competition gains. Just going back to when you were in the competition, I mean, is this good for week one from your expectations?
yeah, week one, so you're gonna see. I've been following it for a couple years since I participated, and like the thing is, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So it's like if you go hard in the beginning, those kind of risks they can catch up with you. So yeah, this is very good. Friendly Bear is doing very well. It's like a marathon mindset. It's just a few thousand a day, and then at the end of the competition, I think when we did the competition, when we did the podcast for the competition when I participated, you told me, yeah, it's around 25, 30,000 is what like the previous competitions at the end was. So a lot of times you'll see a lot of big gains in the beginning, in the first half, and then like somebody blows up, unfortunately. So it's just a
Yeah.
marathon. You got to consider the marathon.
Yes, I definitely have seen that myself in the 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this. And it's really like that in trading too. I mean, if you make a few hundred to a few $1,000s a day, if you try to push it too much, that's usually when you have a blow up. You want to just be small, steady, consistent. Now, obviously, in the competition, we're trying to go for the gold, go for the gold, right? You try to want to win the first place spot. So, and of course, it's not, it's just simulation money, so you can be a little bit more aggressive. But you definitely want to try to be consistent and treat this like real money. Now, with that all being said, I'm just gonna see if I can advance these slides. All right. With that being said, I mean, you're trading yourself, and these are the top five stocks for the entire week, but we're going to go through the top 10 stocks for the week as we display each of the top stocks for the entire week. And then we're going to take a look at the charts. Now, have you traded any of these yourself, David?
Yes, I traded 2, 3, 4, and 5, except number one. Everything except number one. Yeah, I'm
Everything
very
except
familiar with
number.
all of them. Yeah,
Yup. So we're talking about stocks that are in the. It looks like every stock is from the $2 to $15 price range, and obviously, I'm going to bring up my Dash Trader here. So the first one is PHUN. So here's my Dash Trader, and on PHUN, we have. Let's just go to our 15-minute chart. So, I mean, you could see what this looks like at the beginning of the week, right? We have a gap up and then a run up. And that's obviously why on Monday, this was one of our top traders here. So we have a gap up and a run up. And then we kind of have that standard, faltering. And then we have, what looks like a bull pennant, that was forming that failed. So I'm just going to put my trend line ray on here. So we had an attempted breakout, then it kind of failed, got a little bit long in the tooth, and then broke down and then did nothing for the rest of the week. This was the only one you didn't trade, right, David?
that's correct. Yeah,
So let's
I
take a
saw
look
it
at the.
though. I saw it was running because politics. So it runs in sympathy to anything Trump does because in 2016 they helped Trump's campaign somehow. But so people buy it whenever anytime some news comes out with Trump. And
Odds.
yeah, that's why but I stayed out of it. But yeah, that's usually why it's popular.
That's right. Well, probably it was Super Tuesday this week, so that was got a
There we
little
go.
bit of
Yeah.
excitement due to Super Tuesday. So here is another one. This is AISP. Now you did trade this one. This one obviously was taking off on Monday, but it really got going on Tuesday. And then really, actually, I mean, it looks like it was even still continued to be hot on Wednesday, but more to the short side. So Tuesday was its hot day. Now you traded this one personally, right?
Yes, I'm gonna recall it off the top of my head, so don't quote me 100% because it was earlier in the week, and I traded a lot of stocks since then. But this was it looks like it was a gapper, and it probably had a lot of dilution, and yeah, that's probably why I shorted it. And the news
Yeah.
wasn't justified, so that's probably why I short
Yeah.
sold it.
Got it. How hard was it getting the locate on this one?
Um, it wasn't very hard actually. Yeah, no, I didn't have any trouble with anything I located this week.
Cool. Very, very good. Very good. So the next one is the APM. And
So
this one
today was it?
this one took off on Wednesday. It was the top
Ah,
traded
yeah, that's right.
stock for Wednesday, but looks like it had a little action today as well. But it was definitely a popper, and look, absolutely no activity. Look how illiquid and not active it was until it popped up on the charts on Wednesday. I mean, some kind of news catalyst certainly ignited the move on this one. But we see a lot of these poppers and droppers, in the competition and in people's trading as well. So did you trade this one?
I watched it. Actually, this one I did not trade, but I saw it today, and it looks like it was bouncing off the drop from yeah,
Yep,
yesterday it gapped down and had a bounce today. So yeah, well
yep,
behaved pattern right here.
yep. Looks like it was bouncing off support here from yesterday, but certainly no activity until it popped on Wednesday. And then we have LYT. LYT. This was Thursday. Again, pretty much the same chart pattern every day for all of these stocks. It looks like poppers and droppers of the kind of lower to middle of the range price range. So from $2 to $15 popper and droppers is the norm, at least in this competition. Did you trade this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had a max loss in this one. I had made a mistake. I usually completely avoid recent reverse split plays on the short side, and it was a recent reverse split. So 10 days ago, 11 days ago exactly, almost, I believe 11 days, They did a reverse split. The stock was trading, LYT was trading at 5 cents. So they did a reverse split to meet the minimum criteria for the Nasdaq, and the float gets really low. So supply becomes extremely low. It was a 400,000 float to a million, somewhere around that range, and I shorted it. Uh, I did not do my due diligence like I usually do. I was kind of tired. I was tired. I'm a human being, and I,
Yeah.
I entered something I shouldn't have entered, and I got squeezed. And I cut it for, within my loss parameters. But this thing went, I think, up to 1,000% on the day.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it was a massive squeezer, and then of course they come back down. But
Yep.
yeah, it's a terrible company. 5 cents stock. It's usually not a very good company. You know what I mean? And then they do a reverse split, like a
Yep.
60 to 1, I think it was, and the stock. It's just this is the market. You got a lot of price swings, and this was one of the big swings. However, whoever went long really did well in this one. If they got a piece of the move of the front side, of course.
And they cashed out before it reversed, obviously. If
Yeah,
they went
yeah,
long
yeah.
prior to the split, certainly. So there's a couple of things I want to mention from an educational perspective. First off, don't trade if you're tired. If you're trading live, or even if
Absolutely.
you're in the competition and you want to win it, if you're tired, you're hungover, have any kind of emotional distress, probably not thinking clearly. So great point that this that's something to be aware of, and be careful of anytime that you're trading. And then the other thing too is a great mention that a reverse split just for listing purposes is probably not the best stock to be trading, because again they have a lot of risks. I mean, if you've never traded it before and you're not familiar with the company and you don't know what's going on, somebody's got a lot of shares that they got to dump, and if they are not restricted, they're going to be dumping them if they've been holding on to them for a while. And when I look at this daily chart, that is not a healthy daily chart. I mean, this thing looks like a ski slope. I mean, if I had a skis or a snowboard, I'd be wanting to go down that. This is not pretty. And then, of course, it gaps up, it surges to the upside. And anybody who's been stuck in here from, basically $10 to $19, those they're looking to get out, cash out, ring that cash register that they just got some money back, or they just made a hefty return. So this one is about as scary as you can possibly get. The last one is AIMD, which was for today. I mean, this thing's got gap disease. It gaps up, sells off, gaps up, sells off, gaps up. It definitely looks like it's news charged. Not sure if you're familiar with this one.
Yes. The last. So maybe it was news charge in the recent past, but yesterday there was no news, I believe.
Hmm.
It's just a sketchy company, a sketchy stock, and just like many stocks are, they sometimes the news it's unexplainable. So today it gapped up. Actually, after hours yesterday at the close, it made a move, and that's when I traded it. I did not trade it today.
Hmm.
It gapped. It had a bigger gap in the pre-market, and then it faded off. But yeah, I believe, yeah,
I'm going to show
let
the
me
pre and the post market. I mean, you certainly mentioned it right. Look at this,
yeah,
post
yeah.
market move. I mean, the move just took off. It took off in the post market yesterday and certainly into the pre market today. But it definitely got some movement there. As yesterday's close, after yesterday's close rather.
And I believe in the Dodge Trader competition, the traders cannot trade pre-market and after hours, correct?
That's right. It's
Yeah.
not recommended, and you're not supposed to be holding any overnights. And so far, we're amazed, but so far people have been incredibly well behaved this competition. So kudos to everybody on being well behaved. I just want to take a look at the daily chart. So on this one, you can see that there's been kind of various different news events that have triggered movement in this stock. Let's take a look at PHUN. Let's see. Yep, PHUN. Also, another one that's got all kinds of volatility in its daily chart. And I mean, none of these stocks are stocks that they're not the style of trading that I would have been trading. The stocks that I always specialized in trading is like things like Nvidia. Nvidia, certainly some profit taking today. I know that's what everybody's been watching. We have a gap up in Nvidia, and then we had a sell off. And look at the movement on Nvidia right here. Just like, I mean, just massive amounts of profit taking coming out of Nvidia. So, what are your thoughts on Nvidia and this big profit taking that we see going on? You think it's just profit taking, or is it something more?
Um, I mean, it's extended, it's just now it's up to the imagination of the people, you know what I mean? I usually stay away from the hottest sectors. I'm short biased, and when AI, everybody's talking about AI, the whole world's talking about AI. My mom is texting me about AI.
Yeah.
It's like, when is the top? It's very hard to time the top. Just like the other stock that's in sympathy with that, the other AI, the SMCI, and like, the SMCI ran like a few weeks ago. It had a really big dump day, like a first red day, and everyone thinks that's the end, and then it just goes for new highs right after. It hits 10% down and keeps going, and it keeps gapping up. So I mean, yeah, this could be. I think, Mike. I think that's a good point. It could be profit taking, because if you were um, long, like, the human emotion, so eventually is going to tell you to take some profit.
I mean, you
Um,
look at this thing, it went from 800 and 860, basically it started the week in the 840 level, and it got up to 970. I mean, that's an incredible parabolic move. And you see a move like that, you have an incredibly wide range bar with a huge volume bar. I mean, this is about as topping volume. There, I haven't seen topping volume like this since probably the tech bubble, from the internet bubble, and then the later leverage stock bubble. But I mean, this is kind of frothy. If you see a topping
yeah,
wick like that on a weekly chart, that is fairly frothy. Then on top of that, you have an outside bar as well as a bearish engulfing bar. And by the way, the fact that you're a short seller is not surprising since your name is the Friendly Bear. So I would expect that I would expect you to be a short seller. But needless to say, going into next week, let's take a look at the cues. When you take a look at the cues on the daily, we have also that wide range bar, bearish engulfing bar with a double top. It's kind of a little bit exceeded and rejected on the double top. We might see, a lot of times Nvidia will be indicative of the next week. Because so goes Nvidia, so goes the market. You also see Apple. Apple hasn't been doing so hot lately. Apple's chart is kind of bearish as well. But and you go through the top stocks, MSFT, you know, not so hot, possibly rolling over under the moving average. SPY, which is the broader index, also bearish engulfing bar. So certainly we're seeing some profit taking and some frothiness here at the top, and some volatility. So what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. I like that you mentioned the tech bubble. Now, I was in high school when the tech bubble was happening, but over in the Friendly Bear podcast, I've interviewed a lot of former hedge fund managers during that time, and this is probably similar to that time. That was the internet bubble, and now it's like the AI. AI is the theme. Is kind of in
The
the
AI
same.
bubble, right? It's kind of the
Yeah, yeah,
AI. Yep.
yeah. But
Everybody's banking on AI.
yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Apple. It was, it's funny. The other day I went to the Apple store and I tried the Vision Pro, and yeah, it really hurts your eyes afterwards. You feel like, very kind of, I felt a little dizzy afterwards. So I don't know, maybe if it's down on the Vision Pro or whatever but like, yeah, just thought I'd comment on that. And I had my friend over from overseas, and it's not released overseas yet.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know if it has something to do with that, but
Well, Apple started the week with a almost $2 billion fine from the European Union. So and then they got hit in the middle of the week with with sales in China not meeting expectations. So Apple's like big thing
There we
is
go.
China sales and expectations. So, we've been saying for a long time, so goes Apple, so goes the market. And Apple makes up a big component. When you get Apple and Nvidia and Microsoft not doing so hot, you pretty much are looking at some volatility in the Nasdaq at the very least. Anyway, I'm going to jump back to my slideshow presentation, and we're going to wrap things up. So, any thoughts on the competition itself, having been a competitor and a winner? What are your thoughts as the competition moves on? Um, what are some suggestions that you have for our competitors?
Okay, so a couple things. So it looks like the top stocks being traded, those are the stocks that I would trade. So if they're the stocks I'm trading, I think it's the stock selection has been good for the top guys in the trading in the competition so far. I think the right idea is there. Just to be careful on the stocks like LYT, the recent reverse splits, very very low float stocks. I think you'd be aware of those, and I would stay away from those. Those are very so volatile and can cause ruin.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
that could blow up
stocks.
your account real
Yeah,
fast. You get stuck
yeah,
in
one
them.
one trade, so one trade you could do all that work
Yeah,
for 3 weeks, and the last day, it's just like a no hitter. The pitcher blows the no hitter at the last moment,
yeah,
so yeah, just to be careful with that, and just slow and steady wins the race. Top, to visit the Nasdaq and to get some prizes. You don't got to be first. You could be top three, so just to slow it, you'd be surprised, you slow and steady, and you'd be surprised what the results will be at the end, and just keep learning and keep improving, and just treat it like real money, like you always say, Mike.
yeah. And I just want to point out that so far, all of our top 10 traders are in the green, because sometimes you'll even see that
Oh, that's
the
right.
top 10 traders aren't all green. But so far, week one, all of our top 10 traders are in the green nicely. Looks like number 10, best 1091, just started trading today. So you got people still coming in. You can still register for the number one best trader all the way until Monday, I believe, because you still got 3 weeks. And obviously, we know that people can blow out and lose it all if they're swinging big. So just pointing out that the competition is still anybody's game. And to everybody who hasn't done this before and those who have, just a reminder, um, just review your strategy. What have you been doing to make it successful? What have you been doing in your trading that's successful? Have you made any mistakes? If you do, you can eliminate them now, and you still got 3 weeks to kind of take it home and take your spot in the top three or even in the top 10, and just have bragging rights. Also, everybody's a winner if you look at this from an educational perspective and just try to get a good education and learn from trading with simulated but real prizes, which kind of gives that emotional tug. Certainly, overnights are not allowed, and that'll be a fast way to get you disqualified. But so far, people have been behaving well. If you've not traded, you need to start trading by Friday, 3:15. That is next week, next Friday. Otherwise, you'll be disqualified because you can't be the number one top trader if you're not trading. So, any final words, David?
No, I think for those that are not in the top 10 that we don't see on the presentation, just you still got a lot of time, and just focus on getting green first, very small, and just get some momentum going. You still got a lot of time. Just don't, just not to have any major setbacks that'll get you really, really out of the
And
game.
I would also say, don't get overly concerned with other people's results, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Stay
100%.
focused on you. This is a battle against yourself. If you're going to get educational benefits, try to make this as good of a learning experience as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I learned so much from DOS. When I joined the competition, was the first time I used DOS, and like that was the way I learned DOS, through the
Now,
competition.
what are you trading on these days, David?
DOS, only
That's it.
DOS.
That's it, man. That's awesome. So stay up to date with everything DAS by signing up to our monthly newsletter, or simply fill out the form at the bottom of our webpage at dastrader.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dash Trader TV, and the DAS Newsroom. to get reminders. You just click on the little bell. Certainly check out the Friendly Bear podcast, and you're on YouTube too, right?
YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, yeah, as well.
Wow, you're all over the place. So certainly follow us on social media. Follow the Friendly Bear. Check us out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you so much, David.
Thanks, Mike. Always a pleasure.
I'll see you soon, buddy. Thanks again for visiting us. And trade well, everybody. Good luck in the competition.